Hey guys, just doing a little update here. We run out of generator power last night out here in the desert. It's not a great thing to have happen. We haven't quite got enough solar set up yet to sustain the rig, so we need the generator. It run for about 10 minutes and quit. It's only got about 85 hours on it. It's a 5500 Cummins Onan. So I pulled the codes. It was 36, which is fuel and amongst other things, but it shut down without command. So out in the dark, I'm just playing around trying to test things out. We found out it didn't seem to have enough fuel to run, so I charged the tank with some air, make sure we had fuel coming up from the tank, and we could get it to run then for about 10 minutes until obviously the fuel will run empty in the Jenny. So I come to the conclusion the fuel pump was bad. I tried the fuel filter, I took it off, I could blow through it. I was pretty satisfied it would let enough fuel through to run it at that point. This morning I went down to RV Lifestyles, talked to the service rep, explained to him what was going on, and one thing he did say was to test the power going to the fuel pump to make sure that it wasn't running, wasn't losing power and killing the pump. I was fairly confident that wasn't the problem because you could always hit the prime button and the pump would run. It just didn't seem very strong, and then the Jenny wouldn't start. But anyways, I grabbed a test light when I come back. I bought a new pump, I bought a new filter. I grabbed the test light when I come back, I hit the button, and of course the stupid thing started. And it run for about 15 or 20 minutes flawlessly. And then it finally acted up and it quit, and it wouldn't start. And when it started to surge to quit, I jumped on the test light and tested the wire. There's a fuse that goes down into the fuel pump. I tested that fuse. It had power right up until the time it quit. So I was pretty satisfied it wasn't a control board issue. So I went ahead and I changed the pump. I just finished it up here now. I didn't do any video in doing it just because it's pretty tight quarters. I'll just give you the rundown. It's very simple to do. There's 2 screws, 2 wires, once you pull the covers off. On my particular rig anyways. It's up underneath the front left-hand corner. There's 2 panels you pull off with a couple screws, and there's the pump and the filter. And you just take the hoses off, you take the screws out, and you pull the wires down through the hole. So I'm going to turn around here and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So this is the pump for a 5500 Onan generator. Now there is several different ones, you got to have the right model number. There is also a fitting that goes in here that comes up through the floor of the Jenny, because this pump sits underneath the Jenny, and for the hose to go onto from the carburetor. And of course that's the fuel filter, just screws in it. So if you ever want to change your fuel filter, which is a good idea, pop the hose off, unscrew that, screw a new one on it, put the hose on, and you're good to go. 2 wires. So very simple. 2 bolts, 2 wires, 2 hoses. We did that and hit the primer, and it just rattled. So like much stronger pump. Hit the start, away she went, and she's been sitting here running now for good 15 minutes probably. We're gonna leave her run a little longer just to verify, but that seems to be the problem. Now this part this Jenny is still technically under warranty. That pump was and filter was $288 US. The reason I chose to pay for it and do it myself for this was simple, is moving this rig, you know, breaking her all down, hooking her up to the truck and moving it in, going to the service department and hope they could get it in today. Just wasn't worth the aggravation. Yeah, it's almost $300, but in the time of the whole day, losing, staying there, maybe possibly having to leave it and find other accommodations, who knows, I don't know. But it took about 15 minutes to change the pump. So for 15 minutes of time to change the pump, a little bit out of pocket expense. Our Jenny's up and running, and we're not going to be hopefully too interrupted with our vacation. So till then, we'll be talking to you later, probably doing something else. Bye for now. Okay, I have to voice over this little first intro here to the video as my mic didn't pick it up. But about a week and a half after we replaced the pump, the Jenny quit again. And we went over checking fuel, and because it gave us the same code, we were getting lots of fuel, stuff like that. So the next step, we had to go to start checking into the carburetor. So I'm going to let the rest of this play on the original video where the mic started picking it up and explain. But anyways, we had lots of fuel coming in too. So the next step logically was to check the carburetor, and it was as dry as could be. So I ended up having to pull the carburetor off and take off the float bowl, pull out the needle and seat, and there was the tiniest little speck of dirt or rust or something got through and got into that needle and seat. And that's all it took to stop this thing from running. So just a quick update. We tore it apart, we stuck it all back together, and then she ran like a top. No more troubles. So I'm just going to flip this around here. So the carburetor, obviously on this one, gas generator, it's right here. And if you just pull off the breather, there's I think 2 bolts goes through there, 1 over there, and you take those 2 bolts out like you're taking the breather cover off, and that will release the carburetor as well. And unplugged a couple wires, the linkage, and pull that carburetor out of there. It's pretty simple, pretty basic. Just be careful if you are going to do it or think your carburetor's gummed up, and just then take the float bowl off the bottom, give it a clean up, pull out the needle and seat. You know, be careful, don't bend nothing, don't get rammy, but it's very simple. Clean it out, blow all the little orifices and ports out in your carburetor with some cleaner and whatnot, and put it back together. And if it's something as simple as a speck in the needle and seat, you'll probably see it if you're careful taking it apart like I did, and found that that's what it was. Put her back together, and it worked fine. So just wanted to give a little update that it wasn't, well, it was the fuel pump, but somewhere changing stuff, whatever, or charging the tank with air, it pushed something through that it did manage to get some caught in the needle and seat. And it doesn't take much because it's a very tiny hole. But that was all. So I just want to do a little update. Turn you back around here. Just want to do a little update on that, because we did have a little bit of a problem afterwards. Like I said, with that carburetor getting some stuff in it. But all in all, it worked flawlessly once we got that fixed up. No more trouble. So if you're having some fuel issue troubles and you're certain it's not the fuel pump, but it won't continue to run, that's something you could try, is just pull that carburetor and check that there isn't stuff in the float bowl and in the needle and seat, or by chance your float's cracked and sinking down, shutting the fuel off. And beyond that, then you might have to get into a carb or call a tech that can help you out with that if you're not real good with the small engines. So that worked for us, and hopefully somebody's having the same problem. It'll give you a spot to look and check anyways as well, and maybe help you out. So till the next time, that's all.